The process of doing business analysis is really about getting relevant requirements from all stakeholders. That takes time. And one question that causes most people wearing the BA hat pain is, how much longer are you going to take? The obvious inference is that you have to get the requirements to the developers so they do the real work of creating the software they need to meet the deadline. This chapter introduces a phenomenally simple technique that will give you a formula for answering that and similar questions with some degree of confidence. At the very least, you'll be able to explain the rationale behind your answers. Two of the biggest challenges for the one tasked with requirements elicitation for an IT project are, where do I start? And how do I know when I'm done? A simple concept we call the question file is one of the best techniques we know for managing requirements elicitation. Its basis is uncertainty. At the beginning of a project, you often have no idea what the project is supposed to deliver, who is involved, or how to get started. If you ask your manager, you may discover that you're not the only one who knows so little about the project. Welcome to the uncertainty principle. If you happen to be knowledgeable about quantum physics, this name should sound familiar, but you may be surprised about our take on it. For normal people, i.e. all of us non-quantum physicists, this definition of the uncertainty principle might even make sense. To manage requirements elicitation, you need to leverage your uncertainty. The process of doing a project is actually one of reducing uncertainty, not eliminating it, unfortunately, because that is impossible. According to an old German saying, theory is when you know everything and nothing works. Reality is when everything works and you don't know why. Once you have your initial interview with the project sponsor, you have a general idea what the project will deliver. You probably feel relatively confident, but the more you think about the interview, the more questions come to mind. Actually, you probably have a lot more questions after the interview than before it. As you continue to interview other stakeholders, your uncertainty grows because their answers are different than you expect. As the project progresses and you interview more and more stakeholders, there comes a time when their answers start to make sense within the context of the project based on your growing knowledge base. Now you start to feel better because your uncertainty is dropping. You get the feeling that you might actually pull this thing off. And you just might, if you can avoid the dreaded analysis paralysis. So how can you use your uncertainty to recognize when it's time to quit asking questions, the hallmark of analysis, and document what the business community needs and wants in the form of requirements? In other words, when does requirements elicitation end?